good day to you. We're going to start part 3 now, numbers 18 through 25 on our semester review for Algebra 2. So, varies directly. This is something we didn't really talk about in class, but all that means is that y equals, I think they use kx or whatever variable you want to use here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first two numbers, we're going to plug them in here and figure out what the k is. So I'm going to put 9 here equals k times 12. So then what I need to do is I need to divide both sides by 12. And what happens here? Well, 9 over 12 is going to reduce to, was it divided by 3? So 3 over 4. So that means k is our 3/4. So we're going to put the same exact equation. This time we're going to put a 24 there for y, and we're going to plug in the 3/4 for k. So 24 is going to equal 3/4 of the x that it is wanting us to find. Now how do we get rid of 3/4? Well, we multiply by the reciprocal, which means we're going to multiply by 4 over 3 on both sides. So our 4 cancels, our 3 cancels, we're left with just x on that side. 24 divided by 3 is what, 8? So we got 4 times 8, and that is 32. So that's our process. We plug the first two numbers in, find out what that k is, then we plug in this one with our k value to find our x. It's a little silly, but it is what you need to do for that particular problem. Number 19, on your actual test, they're not going to have this middle one. It's just going to be 2 equations, 1 and 2. So there's not going to be 3 different graphs going on. But what we can do is just kind of take a look at slopes and decide what it is that they're going to look like. So we've got 1, 2, 3 parts, right? 1, 2, and 3. So we just need to decide what direction they're going. The other thing we need to remember about the way these are written is that all of these things are just basically y equals, and y equals. So it's kind of like we got a 1 over 1 here for a slope. So our first part, if we're kind of imagining what's going on here, is positive slope. Positive slopes look like this. So our left side needs to be going this direction. Wrong and wrong. Our middle one, y equals 3. Well, those are flat lines. So our middle is going to be like this. Wrong. And if we want to check our last one, the last one is a negative slope. So a negative slope would be going down in this direction. And this is the only one that fits all 3 of those different parts. We don't really need to worry about where they are. Now on your other test, the other thing you can look at is the fact that these 2 symbols are going to mean closed dots on those particular points, and these symbols are going to mean open dots. So between checking the slopes, checking your types of dot, you should be able to figure out which one the answer is going to be. Alright, number 20. Want to find the x-coordinate of our given equation. So there's going to be a few of these systems questions now. This one's going to be our easier one because we can just take this stuff and plug it in here for y. It says y equals this, y equals that. So we're going to put those two things equal to each other. 4x minus 2 equals negative 7x plus 9. So we're going to run through all of our solving things. We want x to be together, and it's always easier to move the x that is positive, or the negative x, because it will keep things to be positive. Gives me 11x over here minus 2 equals 9. Add my 2 to both sides, so I get 11x equals 11, which means x equals 1. And you always want to make sure that the letter you just solved for, the variable you solved for, is the one that they want. And in this case, we solve for x. It says it wants x, so we are good. Number 21. This one's going to be easier to do with our combination. It wants us to solve for x, so I'm going to try and get rid of our y's. And this is that one tricky one that we did a long while ago. But we've got to think about 2 and 3. What number they both multiply up to is 6. So 2 I need to multiply by 3, and 3 I need to multiply by 2. What this is going to do is when we multiply through, it's going to make our y's cancel out and leave us with just our x's, so it's easier to solve. Now we're going to distribute to all of our things on the inside here and get 2 brand new equations. So 3 times 4 is going to make 12x plus 6y equals 30. Want to make sure we multiply by those back numbers. That's what kids tend to forget. 2 times 5 will make 10x 2 times 3 will make minus 6y, and that's exactly why we wanted to multiply by these two particular numbers, is because now our y's are going to cancel. 2 times 18 is what, 36? Alright, so we're ready to combine like terms. Our y's, positive 6y and negative 6y, are going to go away, leaving us with 22x's here by adding, and oh, look at that, 66. Divide by our 22, and we've got x equals 3. All done. You could do it by getting rid of the x's, but you're going to end up having to take your y answer and plugging it back in and do more work. So that's why it's good to look at what it is that they're asking you for and cancel out the other variable. 22. We did not in class do any of these systems of 3 equations with 3 variables, but it's not so bad. Number 1, we're going to figure out what z equals. Number 2, find out what y equals, and then 3, find out what x equals. That's our order. This bottom one here that doesn't have much going on, we're just going to divide by 2, and we get z equals 7. So, z equals 7. We're almost there. We're going to take and we're going to plug that into our second equation. This is now going to be y plus 3 times 7 equals 22. Well, 3 times 7 is 21. Whoops. So we're going to subtract 21, and we get y equals 1. Hey, we've got 2 of our 3 letters. Now we're going to take both of our z and our y and plug it into our top equation. 2x plus, instead of y, it is 1, minus z, which is 7, equals 6. So 2x minus 6 equals 6. Putting these two guys together, I'm going to add 6 to both sides, so 2x equals 12. And then x equals 6. So it's not bad, it just looks scary. Solve the bottom, plug it in, solve that, plug them both in. So it's just a bunch of plugging stuff in. Alright, number 23. What we're going to notice here is all of our lines are exactly the same. They're all solid and going the same way, dotted going the same way. So it doesn't really matter which one is going where. We just need to decide where we are shading. So I'm going to make kind of a little fake one here. We got this line and we got the dotted line. So I'm just going to decide which way do we need to shade things. So our dotted line, that's the top one, this is our dotted, and this one's our solid. If I plug in my zeros to decide, am I going to shade where 0 is? 0 minus 0 is going to be 0 bigger than 12. Is 0 bigger than 12? No, it is not. So do I want to shade where 0 is? No. So for my dotted line, I am not going to shade above it. I'm going to shade below. Alright. Next, let's go with this yellow color. I'm going to check my solid line. Again, 0, is that bigger than or equal to 2? Oh, that really did not work out well for me, did it? That's what I get. 0, is that bigger than or equal to 2? No, 0 is not. So do I want to shade where 0 is for my solid line? No, I'm not going to shade over here. I'm going to shade the other side. What part got shaded twice? Well, this area right here. So on my test, I'm looking for that area, which is D. So just plug your zeros in, makes everything on the left sides cancel, and you just check in, is 0 bigger than this number or not. If it is, you shade there. If not, you don't. 24, everybody's least favorite problem involving money. Bank has coins. I'm going to use D for dime and N for nickels. Dimes and nickels, they add up to 46 coins. Now, how much is a dime? It's 10 cents. And a nickel is 5 cents. How much money do they add up to? 340. If we just forget about decimals on this type of a thing, it's going to work out, because instead of writing 0.10 and 0.05 and then doing 3.4, if we just forget the decimals, it all works out. So here I've got the amount of dimes and the amount of nickels add up to 46 coins. Here the money for my dimes and the money for my nickels adds up to how much money I have. So what we need to do is we need to combine our equations to get something to cancel out. It wants to know how many nickels there are, so I want to get rid of dimes. How do I get rid of dimes? I need this one to be negative 10. If it was a negative 10 here, then that would cancel out. But I can't just multiply the front, I gotta multiply them all and write a new equation down below. So we're gonna have minus 10 dimes, minus 10 nickels, and minus 460. Alright, let's combine that up. Dimes are going away. Nickels are going to be minus 5 nickels equals, what's 460 minus 340 is negative 120. Divide by negative 5, which is a good thing because otherwise we'd have a negative amount of nickels and that would not be cool. 5 goes into 120, what's it, 24 times. So we got 24 nickels right there. If you want to check it out, do 46 minus 24 and see if that amount of dimes is going to fit into your bottom equation and make things right. I trust that it will. 25. First thing we want to do is we want to check our answer choices down here and see if they match in here. And just so that you're not worried, none of this stuff matters to us at all. It kind of explains why we've got these graphs over here, but who cares, right? We just need to know at $8 for a bus and $3 for a car. We want to find out how many of these spaces we can fill up. So 0, 60, that looks like this point right here, so there's our A. 10, 50, looks like right here, that's where B is. 20, 0, here, that's C. 30, 30, that's somewhere like out here, right? Is that even part of our shaded area? No, do not pick that one. That one will give us the most money, but we can't fit 30 buses and 30 cars because it's not part of our gray shaded area. So this cannot be our answer. So next we just want to find out how much money they are. 60 cars at $3 a car means we're going to make $180 there for choice A. Buses, we got 10 buses times 8 plus 50 cars times $3 a car. So what's that? 80 plus 150 gives us $230 for part B. That's not bad. It looks like it's more money than A, so A is out. Last one, what if we just fill it all up with buses? Well, buses are costing $8 each, so 20 times 8. What's that? 160. That's the lowest of all. So B is our answer because it is giving us the most money. $10 for all 8 of our buses, or $8 for all 10 of our buses, I'm sorry, and $3 for all 50 of our cars added together. And it appears that that is the end. Hey, look at that, we made it. You guys have a lovely day, and we'll see you in the next video. Make good choices and be safe out there.